Hi, today I am talking with Holly Quaglia Wells and Sean Gallagher about the restoration project at Joe's original property in the Berkshires and Pilates at the Pillow.
Hi.
There we are. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, there she is.
Holly.
Hey, Holly.
Hey! Oh, there's like a whole lot of hair going on here.
I know, I'm so jealous. I got mine like all bunned up.
I didn't want to make Sean jealous, but I washed it today. And it's like, this is what happens when it's washed.
Well, I polished this today, so, we're the same.
I like bald. I'm married to a bald guy, so it's okay.
Lots of testosterone. That's what they say.
Well, I always link it back to like, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I just totally well, Daddy Warbucks
Mr. Clean.
for one, right? Well,
Right.
I always think of Daddy Warbucks. I mean, because he was way more successful than Daddy Mr. Clean. That's
You think,
I don't know.
I mean, no,
And
Mr.
Mr.
Clean's
Clean
famous.
made a lot of money. Yeah, he's famous.
well, maybe.
He's still out there.
Yeah.
I mean, where's Daddy Warbucks today?
Right.
I don't know, but he did like redheads, though.
There you go.
There
So
we go.
this is a little bit of what it's like on the work weekends
But my hair is pulled back for those.
in the Berkshires. Yes, it is. It is.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Holly, for joining us.
Yeah.
So, we're excited to talk to you about your work with us on restoring Joe's studio and his equipment and what your work at Pilates at the Pillow. So, thanks for joining. So, can you tell us a little bit first, like a little bit of your history in Pilates? Like, how did you come to Pilates in the first place?
Some people cut their hair when they break up. Other people find Pilates. So, back in 2003, I was engaged. We broke up. I started going to the gym again more seriously, found some really amazing Pilates teachers, and it was very different from what I had taken as Pilates years before that. And I was like, this is different. And come to find out, one of my teachers was trained by Ramana. I didn't know who Ramana was, but she introduced me to the method in the mat work, and I was hooked, and I was doing it 3 to 5 times a week at a YMCA that she happened to be teaching at. And right down the street was their studio that they were working out of. And a few years later, after deciding I was so tired of sitting at a desk all day long and just typing away, that I pursued my certification. So that was so I started Pilates in 2003, and I started my certification in 2012. Upon finding out I was also pregnant, but I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want them to kick me out of my program. So
You're one of those.
I held him in for as long as I could, and then I was like, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. But it was too far into the program for them to be like, well, you have to stop.
They were probably like, we know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. No, I got some strong abs from Pilates.
No, I know.
So
You do.
I hit those babies for a long time. But that's when it started, and I finished my program. But it wasn't an official Ramana's Pilates program at the time. And so in 2017, I did a Ramana's Pilates bridge program. So even though my teachers were all trained by Ramana, it wasn't an official program. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to not be a stepchild. And so I wanted to stamp. And so I did the one time that they did a bridge program. I did that through Ramana's Pilates in 2017, and I finished it in 2019, just before all the crazy happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Wow. Cool. That's really cool. Yeah. I didn't know some of those things. So that's kind of neat. Yeah. So then how did you come to, go to the first work weekend? Like, how did you find out about what Sean was doing and decide to go to that?
This is where I do remember.
Oh, you do?
This is the honest bit, which was I heard a lot of stuff about Sean Gallagher. Oh,
really?
What
do you know?
This Sean Gallagher, and it wasn't good. And I was like, well, like people love to talk. This is like naked conversation right here. People love to talk and say things, and oftentimes people can be sheeple and they just listen and then they follow what the person before them said, especially if it's somebody that they respect. But I like to find out the truth for myself. And so when I saw that post, and I think it might have been the first work weekend. I think it was one of the first ones you did, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, It's in Massachusetts. I live in Massachusetts. Why not? And my husband was game for it. And so we drove out there, and Sean was amazing. We sat at the kitchen table and ate pizza. And I said, so can I just ask you some questions? And he laid it out. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. I mean, I'd rather hear it from the source, and I respected his candidness and honesty. And it wasn't all like I'm the best. It was just like, this is what happened. And I really valued that. And so when I would hear people start talking, I'm like, well, hold on. There's always two sides of the story. And then there's like the truth in the midst of all that. And you just got to be open to listen to what people have to say instead of just making a judgment, which is kind of what we see in the world today anyhow. Like, listen.
Totally.
We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Do more listening than talking.
Well, part of what I try to do is, and on social media all the time, there's always 2 sides. You've heard that side. Let me tell you mine, and then people can decide what they think fits the best and works the best, and that's what it really should be. I mean, it's all, it's not about, this is right or that's right, and this is wrong or that's wrong. It's like, well, what is it, and what's the story? And for a long time, my story wasn't. Nobody knew that story. And, you came and found out. And these 30 days and 30 years and 30 days, that's part of what that is to be able to put my story out there again and let people, then they can watch and decide whether or not what they've been told and what they hear from me and what they see from the documents and everything else, what the deal is. So thank you. I'm really, you were one of the first people to, to come and really find out after I started coming back. So it's been great.
And we just kept coming. I think ultimately the truth will always rise to the surface, right? Truth will always rise to the surface. And whether you receive it or not is up to you, but the truth will always make itself known. So
I totally agree with that. And that's one of my favorite things about you, Holly, is that it really is. It's like you're, and I mean, I feel like I'm similar in that sense, in that like I want to decide about what I think about people and things based on my own experience and my own opinion. So it doesn't really affect me if somebody's like, oh, this person's this way. I'm like, if you say so, but I'll decide what I think based on my experience. And if I've never met them and I don't know them, then I'm not really going to make a judgment about them because I have nothing to base my opinion on other than what you're telling me, which is, your experience or your perception of your experience. So I think that's really important. But a lot of people don't live like that.
I know. Well, I had a pastor once who said, what's true isn't new. And what's new isn't true. And I think that can be said about Pilates in general. We don't need to reinvent it. The truth works, and it's not new. If somebody's going, hey, it is a new thing about, something new, shiny and bright. And I think Romano was always known for saying, stick to the method, stay true to the method, stay true to the method. If you stay true to it, it will always supersede all the other junk that's being put out there. And I value that. And Pilates as much as I do in faith and anything else. Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Sean,
that's what it's always about. That's what it's always about. It's like so many people have so many versions and they change and do this and do all these other things. And if that's what they want to do, that's great. But, if you just go and look at, Joe's work, but the problem is, Joe's work was a lifetime. And most people take a little snippet and they go, oh, yeah, I need to learn something else. But I'm still, after 30 some years, still continuing to learn, and find out information about Joe and the science that backs up what he does. So there's so much information, and it's a choice. That's a choice. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
It's like a marriage. It's like marriage. You still get to know that person all those years later.
Sean, can you tell us about what the work weekends are? Because we have people, who are listening and watching right now, but maybe they're not familiar with what the work weekend even is.
So the one of the things that we did, people donated money, but we also wanted to let people, say, well, if you want to come and help out, you can do that. So that's one of the things we did, because there was part of the first GoFundMe, the idea was to get it electrified. And that's what, and I had that was a couple $1,000s to run the line and do all that stuff again. So that was the beginning. And then, but the studio itself, I had on my own rebuilt the roof and shingled it. We rebuilt the deck. and I'd stripped the inside out. I'd gotten it down to pretty much,
Yeah.
the 2x4, frame, and that was it. And so what the idea was to have people come and help. And what we did was, we finished the stairs and the railing. And then, we started to work on the inside, and Holly and Jacob, they came in, and we did, Jacob found repurposed insulation, so we didn't have to, buy new stuff. We could reuse, and it was great. And then we did the drywall, and then the ceiling, and then the hottest day of the summer, Jacob went up there and insulated. It was crazy.
We're going to talk about that. But
okay.
So a work weekend is a weekend that is designated in the summer. You do at least 2 or 3 per summer, right? Where people can come to volunteer.
I try to do one a month. Try to do one a month
in the summer.
Spring, summer, fall, a little bit. I mean, usually May,
before the snow.
June, May, June, July, August, September, maybe. Then that's usually not October because it starts to get too cold. And they can come in, and there's always things to do, because one of the things that I'm also doing, there was the apparatus to clean, there was the studio, but there's also, I have 150 bankers boxes, the boxes that you store documents.
We do know what those are.
I know you do.
Very intimately.
Yes. And yes, you do. And they were, I had stored them in the garage for a long time. And, some of there were a few mice here and there.
Yeah, we'll
maybe
get
more
there.
than a few.
We'll get there.
Yeah. But so another thing is, if you don't want to do the physical manual labor, there's also scanning, because the goal is to get all those documents scanned and organized and set up so that, when somebody says something, I can go, well, yeah, but that's not what this document shows, or that's not what that because there's a lot of people who like to say things with no backup and no information. And I have so many, documents from, partly from the lawsuit, because we had to prove everything and show everything. So there's all that, and some of it's duplicated. So that's part of what has to happen, is to go through it all and get it all figured out. So there's work around the property, and help out, like Holly's, her sons and daughters came, and they helped clean things up around the yard and stuff like that. So there's always a little bit of everything. If somebody comes, we can. There's always something we can find for people to do.
Yeah, there is. Totally. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot. We have a really good time, and a lot of people come. It's always nice, there's like sort of like there's people who come as often as they can, and then there's like someone who will happen to come for one of the weekends or something like that, and it's always really nice to get to know people in that setting. And we always come really for like the same purposes, because one thing, we want to help you restore all of the things, but also we get to have this like nerd moment where we get to be like with apparatus and
total
studio. It's super fun.
Well, that first one with you two, yes, you guys were nerding out the whole time.
Oh yeah. In fact, we're going to be talking about that right now. So I'm going to say a word, and Holly is going to recall the memory, and we're going to take it from there. So we've already said this a little bit, but my first word is insulation. So
husband didn't die in the attic.
It was probably 100.
Husband didn't die.
It was over 100 degrees that day.
It
had to have been. It was so hot.
He's bald, and he looks like he literally had just stepped out of a steam room. Just like drenched, face bright red. But he was alive, and the attic was insulated. So,
you know what, though? The thing about Jacob is he didn't even bat an eye. He was just like, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Like, he just went up inside that attic and made insulation.
Awesome.
Like, he was like so awesome. That was really cool. And then he took an ice cold shower after.
He's my superhero.
The reason you should take a cold shower, and there's a reason for that. You know what the reason is?
It actually helps about the insulation metabolism and fat burning process.
No, it's not that.
No? Okay.
Because insulation is all those fine fibers.
Oh, that.
If you take a hot shower, your pores open and the fibers can go in. If you take a cold shower, it shuts them down and you can wash it off better.
Okay. See? We all just learned something. That's like Joe style, too, the cold shower.
And you know how I learned that?
From experience?
Experience?
No, I was, well, not from doing that. I have a story.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
When I was in
boy.
high school, my father had a rigging company, and we went to a factory that where had moved their ovens, and you know the little thing that goes around your oven to keep the heat in.
Yeah.
That's what they made, and that was made of fiberglass. And we
Mhm.
had to go up into these ovens at in the summertime when it was over 100 degrees, and start to take apart the equipment because there was like 4 or 5 ovens, and you'd be on one, but the other ones were still going as you're taking one
They're
down. And it was
on.
super
The
hot.
ovens are
Yeah,
on.
they're on the other
There's
side.
a
So
job
it's super.
for that too.
So it's super hot, and they basically said, don't take a hot shower, take a cold shower, otherwise the fiberglass fibers can get into your pores.
Who
your
knew it
skin.
would be so applicable later in your life?
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
There
Well,
you
I'm
go.
impressed. All right.
So
So now
another
my
story
next
of something I've done.
exactly. My next buzzword is red trim. Does that bring any memories back?
I needed Elaine to jumpstart my memory again on this one. I was like, red trim. I mean, I know Joe's windows were all trimmed in red. She's like, Holly, you numbered every single one of them.
You
I'm like,
did. Because we
didn't
had to take the
remember that.
windows out. Yeah, we took the windows out. We took all the trim down, and then Sean and Jacob, right? You guys both put the windows in. That's what you guys did together, right, Sean?
Yeah.
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 So
Well, more Jacob than me. I helped, but he knew what to do.
yeah.
Because
yeah.
I
just couldn't
had
remember.
I framed houses in the process, but we never put the windows in because they were always somebody else came in and did that.
Yeah.
So I'd never really done the windows. So I learned things. It was good.
Now Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I had to,
Yeah. What were you going to say? You would have just figured
I
out.
said if I had to, I would have just done it, and it would have been a little bit off, but it would have been, they would have been in.
I'm sure there's
With
a
Jacob,
YouTube tutorial out there.
Yeah, or something.
Probably.
Well, anyway, so the trim was red, which you and Kathy talked about the other day when you were talking about the purchase of the property. And, Joe did have the red trim around the room, and we were like, no, I don't think so. But, Holly and I, all these times in weekends, we've been very careful to preserve as much as possible.
The patina.
The patina is very important to us.
Patina.
Yeah. So we
Love
kept
the
the trim. Yeah. And Holly took it upon herself to number each piece so that we would remember, where they went if we wanted to use it again.
That's why we did it.
Yes. And the tape is to put tape and a little number on each one so that if we were to put it back around the windows, because we weren't sure yet if we were going to put it back on or if we were just going to keep it.
Right.
So that's part of Holly's diligence, which is appreciated. Very good.
Yeah.
So many things that you've done. I appreciate you so much for all that help.
Yeah.
And you and Jacob and your kids too.
Yeah, exactly.
We brought foster kids up there. We're like, hey,
yeah,
you guys are coming. We brought our kids, our foster kids. I think we've had 2 cycles of foster kids now come through.
It's so
and
cool.
help us up there.
Neat. Yeah.
And when they grow up, they'll be like, I worked at Pilates.
Yeah.
Right. I was the right place at the right time.
Yep.
They're going to present at a workshop someday.
There were sort of seeds planted. I don't know how they're going to bloom, but
That's
were
right.
planted.
That's right.
That's right.
All right, so
One seed at a time.
My next term is electric toothbrush.
Lisa.
Yes, Lisa Mori.
Crazy.
She came. Yeah.
We had pulled the electric chair out of the garage. It's covered in questionable matter, organic matter. And Lisa whips out her electric toothbrush from her overnight bag and starts going to town. She's like, nothing was working quite as efficiently as a good Oral-B. And she just took that thing and went crazy. We're like, please tell us you are not using that thing again. She's like, no, I'm going to retire it after this. But man, she was on that with that was impressive. That electric toothbrush.
That was amazing.
I know. And that was, that's like, that's what I was saying, like the camaraderie that we have on these weekends, because it's like, we're all about this kind of thing, but everybody who comes is equally as intense about the preservation and the restoration that, she was like, oh, I have exactly what I need in my car. And she comes back with like her own toothbrush. I was like, okay, like you win today.
Definitely. And then we all did our bicep pose.
Right.
Yeah.
I had that picture of the biceps. That was great. It was like, that was so cool.
That was really cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun bonding because you're with like with
totally.
like, and it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good time.
exactly.
Yeah,
And that was
very
the
good.
same day that we took out the equipment that day. I think that was the first day we took it out and cleaned it. We've actually
Mm-hmm.
cleaned it more than once
The
because, it's taken
reformer,
like a
the
few
electric
times.
chair,
Yep. The
Yep.
Cadillac. You did the Cadillac.
the Cadillac.
Yep.
Wasn't
I
the
have pictures
Cadillac
of
up
you.
in the house?
No,
Wasn't that
that's
up in the house?
no.
No,
I
that
can
was
I
That
can
was the
say that
massage
I
table.
did carry that Cadillac up with you, Sean. Together, we carried that Cadillac up
Yes,
those
we
stairs.
did. Yes,
Yeah, I
we
think
did.
that's why Pilates teachers do Pilates is so that we can move equipment.
and
Yep.
do
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
things.
yeah. But that was
Yeah,
really fun. So yeah, we
it
cleaned up
was
the
fun.
equipment. Yeah, it was fun. Like when we took out the reformer, like the clawfoot one, and we're like nerding out on like the plaques and all
Pulling
the.
up the picture of the studio back in the day. We're like, look
We're
at
like, which one was it? And we figured out which one it was.
the one in front of
Yeah,
Clara.
yeah, it was so fun. That was good.
Totally.
All right, so now
See,
another.
if
Yes,
everybody's watching, this is kind of what it's like on the weekend. I don't
yeah.
really say much, and these two just go at it. They're laughing, they're going, so it's good.
So
So
That is
if
fun.
you come, you'll see, you'll get to join in.
that is
That
what
was so
it's
funny
like.
because one of the weekends, like we haven't been able to make it to all of them, and Elaine's like, "Please tell me you're coming." I'm like, like it's like heartbreaking to miss out, because I know I'm gonna miss something really awesome.
I
But
know, I know, but
no.
maybe maybe this coming summer can be more doable. We'll see.
I
We'll
hope.
see.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope
Uh,
so.
uh,
So yes,
no,
I was gonna. Okay.
It's so
Okay.
funny.
Well,
Someone's comments are two smiley faces, but they're right where my eyes are, and that's all I can see are my eyes are two smiley
we
faces.
need some more comments to scroll the smiley faces up. All right. So now my final buzzword memory is mouse poop.
Am
Do
I
you like
supposed
to
to be answering
elaborate?
all these? Am I just trumping
Yes,
hello,
you.
Sean here? Oh, it
Oh
is
no,
me.
this
Okay,
is
okay,
for
okay.
you. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So mouse poop, and I instead think mouse carcass. That's what comes to my mind first. I mean, the
Yeah.
poop was like confetti. It just fell out of everywhere. But the carcasses you found later, now
Oh yeah. No,
that
you
was
found them. I
special.
refuse to even
I
look
did
well,
at
find
them.
them.
every winter when I would close up, I would put the little things to, those little pellets, not pellets, but the blocks of stuff that they eat that takes care of it. So
Yeah.
they would eat it and go back to their little places and
In the
would no longer
archives.
in the
Yeah.
archives. Well, some of that archives was some of the stuff for my other business, the physical therapy, but there was quite a
Uh-huh.
bit in the archives as well. But
However,
that's
the best one was when the mouse wasn't dead.
and
And
came right on
and
out.
I wish I had it on videotape. I was like too late for it. And I pulled it because it was disgusting. And we pulled it out, and I lifted up the cover, and the mouse jumped out at me, and I was like, wow! And I don't care about mice; they don't scare me. But I wasn't expecting a live one to jump up out of the box, and he just ran off into the woods.
Yeah.
Just
You're
ran
gonna
away.
tell everybody about it. It's like
Yep.
the warning
Ran
to
away.
tell everyone.
But
Yeah.
he
So
had a nice
and
cozy nest in there.
and
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that we're doing is that they were all paper boxes, and the mice can
Mm-hmm.
obviously they have little handles that they can crawl into and all that stuff. And when you store so many boxes,
Mm-hmm.
you can't take them out every time. So now what I've done is I've gotten the shelving, the metal shelving
Yeah.
with wheels, and the plastic containers. So they're going to have a much more,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be able to do all that. And that's what, like the last two work weekends you guys were working on. That's why you found all that stuff, because we were transferring everything to make it, a better organized and
Yes.
safer
Yes.
and not, lose all that stuff.
But what
Right.
we
So
should be very specific about is not the archives that had mouse poop and mice in it. It's copies of
Oh,
paper
sorry.
and
Yes.
right,
information. Yeah,
right.
it's just your records basically
Right.
that
Yeah, it
you
was
have
all,
Records of
copies
yes.
of. It's not
that
like
when,
the archives are
well,
covered in mouse
there's,
poop.
right. So here's,
Yeah, at all.
this is, let me clarify this.
Yeah.
The majority,
People are very worried.
when
Yeah.
when I bought the business and and when, this is, everybody says this, he threw away 80% of the archives. Well, what I threw away was the cards, which, I'm
Right.
kicking myself in the butt now for doing that. But at the time, they were like just old client records that are 40 years old. There was all these boxes. Like, I don't really need these.
Yeah.
But the documents that, the blueprints and the writings and the negatives and all that stuff, that's not up in Beckett. That's
No.
I have that here, and I have it stored. I could, maybe we'll do a thing showing you all that's there one of these times so everybody can see. It's not huge. There's there's shelving and stuff like that. What's up there?
Stored archivally.
Right. Properly.
Yeah.
Right. And what's up there was, when you go to court, you have to produce all the documents that, show what you're trying to do and what you've done and what's been done before, and all that stuff. So there's all of that. And there are some business records as well.
A lot, though, from the training.
Yeah. Right. And training.
Copies.
So there's all sorts of different things up there, and they were stored. And again, the mice, they weren't like in the front boxes. They were like back behind in the,
they knew
back
better.
there.
They know how to hide. They're smart. They're not stupid. They're like, oh, he's going to come here. Now let's go in the back.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
We did not post about this part on Instagram. This was the non-glamorous side of things. But partly why I want to talk about it is because, since we haven't really talked about it on Instagram or posted about it after the work weekend, then people don't really realize, how much work really goes into this, the restoration. I mean, it's fun. We have a great time. There's the equipment, and then there's the studio, but then there's also the papers like you were talking about. And, that was a lot of work. So, we did all of that. We had a lot of fun doing it anyway, but it was, some pretty hardcore labor of love to help, preserve this information because now, you have it accessible in the plastic totes like you were talking about. And if you need to go look something up, we labeled everything. I mean, we really, got that going, that process going.
And let me talk that, there was probably 50 or more boxes, maybe 70 or 80. Yeah. So that you guys, and they're like in all the closets and everything else and stored all over. But one of the things that's interesting that shows you the amount of time, the day you guys spent a day doing all those boxes, and Kathy, they were scanning and they got a half a box scanned.
Yeah, scanning is a lot slower. The process is
And, I also only had one scanner, so the next work weekend we're going to have at least 2, maybe 3. So it'll be, and if more people come, we'll be able to scan more. And it's also, as we go through, there's a certain way that we've set it up to try to be able to organize it and find it so that when you guys have written it all out, as we get each box, then we're going to be able to put that in the proper place in relationship to the organization.
So we're basically creating a database.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. So, all right. So now I want to move on to Pilates at the Pillow. So, Holly, you also volunteer at Pilates at the Pillow.
Yeah.
You are our main
coffee
what would
maker.
you say? You're like the head honcho almost up there, right? I mean, you do a lot. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
I don't know about head honcho. I feel like I'm the mouse that runs wherever you need me to go, right? Right. Well, Terry Ann was kind of like your person for the first one, and then she got pregnant. I helped with the second one. Have there only been 2?
There's 3.
No, there's been 3. Terry Ann was at all 3.
No, remember
she left early.
There was one where I thought
Well, we have Carolina.
Carolina, yeah. I don't.
So you and
think
Carolina.
That's horrible.
Yeah, basically you, Carolina, and Terry Ann, and now we have Virginia this time around. So yes, that'll be great. Yeah,
that'll be good.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been really awesome just to be a part of what's happening there. I know in the first one I did a lot of pictures and that was fun. And I'm a nerd about history in general. I love history, and when it's in your discipline, it's even better. And so I'm fortunate that my husband's been so awesome to just be a part of all of this with me. Hey babe, off to the Berkshires we go again. But I tell everybody about the Pilates at the Pillow events because they're so informative. And what I love what you all do is that you don't sit there going, well, who taught you? What's your certification? You're like, no,
totally.
Like the best thing is to share knowledge, and it's like again, it's truth, right? And so, how do we know it's truth? Because you've pulled it out of all of the historical documentation. So you're not making stuff up, despite what naysayers might say. And so, like, I appreciate just the transparency at which you present the information at the event. And I think whether you're a Romanos Pilates teacher or some other discipline, it doesn't matter. You know, I think you've had people who've come from more contemporary programs before. We're just like, I just want to know. I want to know. Like, I think people innately have a desire to seek out truth. And so I think that's what you all offer, and it's amazing. It's awesome. And I have it all in my studio now. I have my spine corrector poster, my Pilates bench is right here, and I love that, and my pedipole. And it's awesome to get to experience not new equipment. Because again, what's true isn't new, and what new isn't true. This has already existed. It already is truth. We're just being able to bring it back to the surface so that people are exposed. I think it's like with anything, you know, you've got to kind of hone, like in a teacher's program, you have to teach things very black and white because you've made it pragmatic to teach to the masses. And eventually, once you become a teacher, then you get to really explore the method as a teacher, as a student. And I think the teacher training program, a lot of people don't learn about the guillotine. They don't learn about, obviously the bench mat or the correct way to say pedipole, or anything like that.
Right.
And so the Pilates at the Pillow offers that knowledge, and you're the only ones who have it. So, I think it's great. People should take advantage of it.
And we don't, it's not for classical people. It's for teachers.
It's for anybody.
It's for whatever program you're from.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be comprehensively trained, right? Because we're using apparatus equipment. So it's not for people who just have a mat certification. It's comprehensively trained teachers, and it's for studio teachers. It's for people who work in the studio day in, day out. That's how they make their bread and butter. They're training people. That's who we're trying to get trained and spread the word again and spread that history and that information. So that's really what it's about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite things about the event is, and I say this like, every time I do my little speech when I, thank everybody, for coming, and thank Sean for having us at his property, and I thank everyone who is working with us, and because it takes all of us together to put it together. But it takes the people who come, to also make this event, because no matter what your training is from, and this is what I say every time, it's like we're all coming from different lineages, different schools, different parts of the world, but when everybody is filling out their application, the same thing brings us together. And that's what everybody writes, is that I want to learn about what Joe's intentions were. I want to learn the original work. I want to learn what his apparatus was like. I want to be in that location. And that's like the thing that brings everybody together, which is like a beautiful thing. When you're there,
really cool.
It's really cool.
And it's exploring history while making history again.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
it's touching history too. It's like if you go to Gettysburg.
Yeah,
exactly. You go to Washington, D.C., any number of historical places. When you're there, you're like, oh my gosh, you're in the tea garden. And everyone knows what those tea garden photos and videos look like. And that's why we all get so excited when we can do the 100 or a teaser in the tea garden. Maybe it snows on top of us in April, like it's magical, and not to,
it is.
Make it sound too romantic, but it is really magical because you've got to be where he was, and he's not a god, and some people worship him, but he was a person with great ingenuity, and we've all benefited from it. And to know that we could be where he was doing what he was doing, it's kind of cool.
Body, mind, and spirit.
Absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah,
His
exactly right.
There.
It is. You can feel it.
His energy.
So, Sean, can you tell us a little bit about Holly's work at the conference? What has she done? What is
oh my
her
gosh,
role?
she's done the filming, she's done taking care of the store, she's done, the food, she's done everything. She's well versed.
Yeah, helping people when they need it.
When they help.
Questions.
I mean, the bus, taking everybody, making sure we get on because it's like, okay, the bus, there's a window for the bus. Let's get everybody rounded up. She's the Pilates rounder upper.
I'm
like a cattle dog. Heels.
That's right. And she wakes up very, very early to make sure the coffee is ready. That is the most important.
I wasn't even a coffee drinker yet. I have now become an occasional
Wow.
coffee drinker.
So I don't drink coffee, so that never, I never experienced that, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, it's important to most people.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. People who are there anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yes.
think that sort of wraps up our
Yeah.
talk for the evening.
Another great
Thank
talk.
you so
Thank
much,
you, Holly,
for
so much.
joining
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
thank you
That was
for
really
all that you've
fun.
done before in the years, and I hope you can join us again, and let's
We
have a
will.
great time.
Well, we'll see her in April. Yeah.
Yes. But I'm
Yeah.
just work
Yes.
weekend,
April.
where
Oh my
she can
gosh.
make it.
Yes.
2 months away.
Oh my gosh.
I know we
You need
have
to send
to
me.
talk.
You need to send me
We
those
will.
dates again. Oh, yes.
I will.
It's April 29th and 30th and May 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the
Perfect.
dates
Okay.
for the April
Okay,
pillow.
good.
And if anybody's interested, there's still
Elaine's
a
like,
few.
oh crap, I hope she can make it.
Yeah, there's still a few slots open, and if anybody's interested, you can go to Elaine's website and rhinebeckpilates.com, and there's an application you can fill out.
Yes.
Yeah. Lots of
Come.
nice
It's gonna
comments
be
saying
amazing.
thank you.
Yep. Thanks,
Yes.
everybody. Hi,
Lots of
Judy.
thanks
All right.
to
Hope you saw
Holly.
Jody.
Yep.
Lots of love to
Jackie.
all
Hey
of you out
everybody.
there.
We haven't said
Holly.
hi already.
Yeah.
So really quick, we have today is the last day for the raffle. So if you want a last chance to participate, you will comment on all 7 recordings from this week and tag a friend, a client, or another teacher and mention what you learned or enjoyed the most or what you think they might enjoy about the video. And tomorrow we're going to pull a name out of the hat, maybe yours, and you will win a Pilates Posters gift set.
Ooh.
Tomorrow's our last day, and I'll be posting tonight about our topic, but tomorrow's our grand finale, so hopefully we'll see everybody there. And if we can't make it live, we'll just record it. Yes.
We're also going to do another drawing tomorrow, and if you've participated in the last 4 weeks, each week for that, and we're going to do one more for somebody who gets for participating in all 4 as well.
Grand
so there's
prize.
those people
Yes.
who really participated
grand
and
prize.
tagged and everything, they're going to get that as well. So there we go. That's
so
what's
if you
tomorrow.
if you did all of every single one, because some people did, then you may have a chance to win the grand prize tomorrow night.
They are the ultimate. You should
All
name
right.
it like the ultimate Pilates geek, because Pilates nerd's already been taken, so you can't really use that. But find something really cool to label them. Everyone wants a crowning title,
That's so true.
Ooh.
That's so true.
Okay.
All right, I'm on it.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
For everybody for joining us. And thanks Holly
everybody.
and
You're welcome.
Elaine.
Thank you,
It's been
Holly.
great. Appreciate
See
it
you
very
later.
much.
Great.
Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Bye.